Alright, so what I want to do in this video is talk a little bit about the different types of government failures. And there's really just four types that we're going to look at. So let me list these out. So the first one is restriction of choice. Second one is it's bureaucracy. What the heck? Third is rent seeking. And the fourth is limited information. Okay. So let's go through each one. Restriction of choice is pretty self-explanatory. It's when you have these limitation imposed on you that's preventing you from making a choice, such as law, regulation, etc. A good example, so inability to make a choice. So like a good example of this is, let's say we have a park and the government decides to pay for this park. They're going to tax everyone, increase taxes a little bit. This creates restriction of choice because some people may not want the park. They might not visit the park. And as such, only those that would want the park would be the ones paying for the park. However, because by taxing everyone, this creates a restriction of choice. So you would choose by paying for the park to go to. You would choose who's actually going to the park. Those that are going to the park are paying for the park. If that makes sense. Okay, bureaucracy is basically any time that there is slow government, or if it's like inefficient or like overly rigid or something. This is a government failure. So like, let's say we elect a mayor in our town, and because he promises to fix the roads, but it takes him he's been 3 years in office and still hasn't done anything. This is a bureaucratic problem because it's just taking too much time because he has to deal with other problems and has to pitch it to all these different people, etc. And we want the problem solved. So this creates an inefficiency and a failure because even though he promised this, because it's taking so long, we're not getting what we want. He might still be willing to do it, but it's just he hasn't been able to get to it on time. And so that is an inefficiency. So that's bureaucracy. Rent seeking is really just any kind of lobbying. That's kind of what you're looking for. So it's when individuals they're basically seeking benefit for themselves. So like a good example is like it's like, yeah, so like let's say I don't know, I want BYU to have more parking, and so I go pay specifically, like I make sizable donations to Provo legislature, and to city council, to try and persuade them to change that. So I'm seeking my own benefit just because I don't want to walk to school anymore. I would like to park on campus or something, and like them to put a parking garage or something like that. So that would be rent seeking. And then finally we have limited information, which is simply just there's a lack of information Um, Let me put restriction of freedom also put is like, or restriction of choice is also like restriction on freedom. So limited information is really just a lack of information. So I don't know, a good example of this is like if the government were to promise something, but they realized, like, let's say we're going to put a parking garage, but they actually can't put a parking garage because they didn't know that it's not structurally sound for the specific place that they were looking for. They didn't look at the specific rent or all these things. Like there was information that they didn't know about previously, and so they're unable to do it. So that would be like some sort of kind of limited information. Basically, what you're looking for is just this lack of information. Okay, hopefully this helps a little bit. Let me know if you have any questions. Adam out.